Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how to write and self-publish a book. I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you found this video. This topic is one of my favorite ones to discuss. After writing and ghostwriting dozens of books, I definitely have some tips I'd love to share with you. By the end of this video, you will learn the importance of purpose, of your why understanding your own writing habits is so important, and why being original is the most important thing. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. When thinking about writing and publishing a book, I want you to start with one word: why. Why do you want to write a book? Why is a reader going to benefit from your book? Why matters. Because tapping into your why, your inner purpose, your drive, the goals that you want to accomplish from the book is going to help you get closer and closer to accomplishing that. Tapping into your why, tapping into your purpose is going to help you get closer and closer to writing the best book possible and to keep going, to stay motivated. Otherwise, you're liable to want to give up. If you don't have a strong why, if you don't have your purpose figured out, you're going to want to put the book away. It's going to be too hard, too much of a challenge, and too difficult. So you want to understand your why so you can keep going and stay motivated even amid the ups and downs, amid the struggle points that you face during the writing process. Planning and research matter too. It's not just about sitting there and writing away. It's really about tapping into what you're saying, making sure it's as strong as possible, making sure it resonates, making sure it stands apart from every other book that's out there. When you think about that bookshelf that you want your book to be on at the bookstore, what other books are in that space? How is your book different? How does it stand out? If it doesn't stand out, make it stand out. Find a way to make your book different than all the other books. Make it better, make it different, make it from a different vantage point, something. It's got to be different somehow, because if it's not different, no one's going to want to read it. The planning phase is important too, because it helps you really figure out what you want to say, how you want to say it. It gives you a path forward. You want a good path forward. You want to take away obstacles and challenges. You want to stress test this thing beforehand as you get started, and by doing so, it's going to make the writing process that much easier. You're going to be that much more engaged because you've already worked through all the struggles. Who is your book for? What are they going to take away from it? That's a huge thing. Understanding that's going to help. How's your book structured? Getting an outline in shape. Your hook, your audience, your outline. Doing those things at the onset is going to make the writing process that much smoother. You want to take away all of the obstacles, or as many as you can, because doing so is going to keep you motivated to keep going. Once you get writing, think about what works for you. What have been successful projects from the past? What have been unsuccessful projects? What are the defining features of those successful and not successful projects? What can you do to keep writing, to keep going, to not give up, to not put the book down? What can you do to write every single day or every single week? You need to tap into that. You need to tap into your habits. And if you have bad habits, or you have struggles in following through and finishing things, you need to change the way that you approach those habits. You need to make new habits. A big thing for me is putting the phone away, being less distracted. Every time that you get an alert on your phone, think of it as 23 minutes of distraction time. You're being pulled away for 22, 23, 24, 30 minutes. Going down Wikipedia rabbit holes or researching whatever, and then you come to find out, oh, I was doing something else, wasn't I? What was that? It's about building good habits, finding the time to do writing sprints. A lot of times when people are writing a book, they think they need to spend all day working on it. My friend Jonathan's like that. He's working on a book right now, and he's always taking the whole day writing on it. All the power to him. I think it's amazing. I don't always have that kind of time, so I focus on writing sprints. What can I write in 10 minutes? As fast as possible, churn it out, walk away. Come back to it later and clean it up. See if it's any good. Rinse and repeat, keep doing it. Writing sprints are a great way to build progress and momentum. Too commonly, authors get stuck on the idea that they don't have time. I want you to rethink the balance. Time is not going to help you write the book. Focus is going to help you write the book. If you can focus on focus, you're going to have success in book writing. But there's other elements at play. This isn't just about the writing process. This is about writing a book that's going to get published. That's a super important thing, which is why you really need to think about 3 steps: editing, production design, and publication. You need to think about all those things and incorporate them, you know? Work with professionals, work with people who've done these things before. They're going to be able to help you write a book that's going to accomplish your goals. I think a lot of times people think, I'm just going to have my friend edit my book. Is your friend ever edited a book before? Do they actually know the elements that are needed to write a great book? Are they helping you get closer to accomplish those goals? If they're not helping you get closer to those goals, that's a problem. They're probably not the right person. Another thing to think about is feedback. The feedback loop is super important. A lot of times people will send their draft to friends of theirs, relatives of theirs, people in their network and say, give me the feedback. Let me know what you think. Not good enough. That's a way of creating discord, of struggle, of really maligning the project and undermining the project. That's a too many cooks kind of situation. You don't want that kind of feedback. You want to navigate the feedback and really kind of steer the reader to give you feedback that's going to be helpful for you. You want to send them a list of questions. Instead of sending them blanket instructions and saying, give me whatever feedback you can, tell them, what's the strongest chapter? What's the weakest chapter? You know, what are the 1 or 2 things that you really feel I missed the mark on? What are the 2 strongest elements of the book? Those kind of things. You want to give them specific questions that they can answer. And by that, you don't want them to just send over every single edit. You want them to read for completeness, for quality, for the issues that they see instead of every single thing. You don't want that. That's not going to be helpful. You know, so it's really about orchestrating the kind of results that you want to get. I always think about with book writing is you get what you put in. And that's generally true. It's not always 100% true, but it's generally true. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about effort. I'm talking about the desire to get it right. If you put in the effort and you put in the time, you make a commitment to excellence, you're liable to write a really good book. You're liable to, you know, to get this right. You know, but you really need to spend the time to do it right. Again, going back to the editing process, you want to work with people who understand what it means to write a successful book. I remember when I started ghostwriting for the first time in 2019, I'd spent a decade in New York City newsrooms. I had a lot of writing experience and a lot of editing experience. So it's lent itself well to my new career focus. But there were so many things that I still needed to learn about book writing. There were so many barriers to entry and so many gaps and so many pieces that I didn't understand that took me 5 or 6 years to really figure out. You as a first-time or even second-time author, you're not going to have all those answers. You're not going to understand what it means. It took me years and years and years to get to the point where I finally understand. I finally get it. There's so much that you can miss by not fully understanding it. And by not working with people who understand it, you're liable to miss it. You're liable to miss opportunities for revenue, for growth, for progress, for momentum, for all these things. In the end, uniqueness matters. It stands out to be different. You don't want to be like everybody else. That's why I discourage people from using AI to write your book. I'm not saying you can't use AI to plan your book or to, do some ideation, but at the same time, you want your book to be unique and different. And AI is all about sounding like everybody else. AI is not about being different at all. It's about being the same. It's about blending in. It's about sounding like everybody else. I want your book to be uniquely yours, with your unique message, your unique voice, your unique takeaways, your unique outcomes. Doing that, focusing on those things and really digging deep on what those mean is going to mean so much more than trying to sound like somebody else. Be you. Be original, be unique, be different. Doing those things is going to set you apart. And that's what you want to do. You want to set yourself apart from everybody else because your book is different. All it is being different, spending the time, and collaborating with people who know what they're doing. And if you can do those things, you're going to find a lot of success with your book. If you want to learn more about how to write and self-publish a book, there's another video I recorded I want you to check out. I'll link to it on the screen. It's called I Need Help to Write My Book. This video is all about the support services that you can get if you're struggling to carry your book forward. Book ghostwriting support, writing coaching, courses, even some DIY tips. There's so many different ways that help can come through, And there's so many different ways that you can lean on others and their information and their insight to write the best book possible. So I know it can feel lonely to write a book, but it doesn't need to be this lonely, and you can really collaborate with people to help bring out the best book possible for you. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.